Well, I just want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I know, things during the week, it's a busy, we all lead very busy lives. It's interesting that busy people always have stuff to do, and busy people generally have too much stuff to do. So I know many of you here in the room, and so I know what it takes to get to even shoehorn 30 minutes into your calendar, so I appreciate that. I'd like to start and introduce, we have some council members here from Council District 1, David Gibbons. Council District 2, Deborah Morris. Council District 4, Jim Bookout. Council District 6, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Vera. There he is. And Council District 7, Dylan Hedrick. There they are. And why y'all have to sit in different places? And last but certainly not least, Mayor Pro Tem District 8, Robert Smith. We have, lots of guests here tonight. There's former Councilmember Jackie Fagan. I saw BJ Williams here, I think somewhere. There's BJ. Thank you. The Honorable Fagan, the Honorable Williams. I feel really special because we have our municipal judges are here tonight. I was like, well, I wasn't expecting that. So our municipal judges, John Sholden and Natalie Benuelos, recently sworn in. Anyway, and I know lots of you serve on lots of boards and commissions and things around the city and volunteer for lots of things, so I appreciate you being here. And I would say, this is my first State of the City address. I am a wee bit nervous, but luckily I have a script here in front of me, and the main portion of that, or the reason for that, is to keep me on task and to keep me on time, and because I have trouble with both. I'm very passionate about this city, and once I get started talking about the city, I tend to wander, and I may actually end up, they've given me this microphone to use, which now I may end up wandering off the stage, but we'll go ahead and get started. We do a lot of things here in the city, and it starts out with just our daily services that we provide to residents, and we respond to emergencies, and then we have things like a crisis with homelessness. All of those things we have attacked. We have presented a solution for them that put people first. And in addition to our daily efforts to protect residents and enhance the quality of life, we've continued our economic growth forward. And of course, now we have dealt with our second tornado in 4 years, and a response to that has really absolutely solidified what this community is about. On the night of October 20th, as you all know, an EF2 tornado caused $22 million in damage, but thankfully only with minor injuries. Our first responders balanced professionalism and empathy in immediately securing the hardest hit areas. Now, funny story, and I'm not supposed to do this to stay on time, but they immediately secured the area. I was en route because some of the volunteers had already showed up, and I couldn't get into the neighborhood. Wow. Yeah, so they were under orders and they followed them. Garland's Environmental Waste Services cleared more than 1,600 tons of debris out of that area without delaying pickup in other neighborhoods. Garland Power and Light reconnected all but a handful of the residential and commercial customers in that affected area, some of those within days. And most importantly to me, the volunteers, nonprofits, and other city service providers that played a key role in the recovery. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. We have had some leadership changes here in the city. We have Jeff Bryan was promoted from Assistant Chief to Chief of Police on February 20th, as Mitch Bates moved if you will, to Deputy City Manager. It is still tough for me not to call him Chief Bates, and then I get his name and his former title mixed up. But I can tell you we are all very confident in that move, and really appreciate the work that they do. And together, our police and city administrators went out to address the health and safety concerns in the homeless camps. We have 2 full-time officers who work with the homeless. And then we have a task group that involve 5 city departments. And then we also, of course, partner with nonprofits. And the message is we want to care for these people. We are concerned for these folks, and at the same time, the safety and well-being of the city. So we've cleared some of these camps, and honestly, we've taken about 50 tons of debris out of these camps. At the same time, trying to help people get back on their feet. And, while we address the residents' daily and emergency needs, we're still planning for the future. In addition to the $423.7 million commitment from our residents in the bond election, the city completed our Parks Master Plan in 2019, and we're close to finishing our Library Master Plan. We also have master plans in the works for aquatics, and also with trails and bikeways. And, we have a quick recap of 2019. We have a short video.
We have some friends over in Garland, Texas at Milano Hat Company who tell me they know your exact size. So while in Texas this week, we found a true American original.
And more than a century later in Garland, Texas, more than 200 workers at their factory. They make 1 million hats every year.
We want to invite you to come and make your mark in Garland.
I just want to tell you about the amazing performances at the Granville Art Center.
One of my former students grew up and is a Garland police officer. Then to actually see one wearing this and wearing that, holy mackerel.
Boxes? I'm sure they're recyclable.
Garland police officers with a special assignment are making quite a difference in their community.
Hey, my name's Wendy.
Garland PD partners Wendy Sheriff and Todd Jerry are the department's homeless and mental health liaisons. In many cases, they connect those they encounter with city and county resources.
Neighbors that may not even know each other, frankly, to see everybody come together, are out helping each other, and people from across the city who obviously don't know each other are coming together, and that's priceless. You can't pay them for that.
Wow. You know, I probably should just end my presentation now because I'm not sure I can top that video. But that is a recap of 2019. I certainly, you know, I know a lot of you were involved in some of those efforts and those activities, and I hope that we have many more of those videos to come. But moving forward, Garland's future is now. One of the most exciting achievements in 2019 that will make a mark on Garland in 2020 and honestly much further beyond that is the approval of the bond package last May. In the bond package, we have $117 million to enhance parks and recreation programs, along with the new animal shelter, major street infrastructure improvements, new fire stations, other public safety enhancements, and honestly, much more than what I could ever go into in a presentation like this. Since the approval of the bond program last May, we almost immediately approved a 6.5 cent increase to the debt service tax rate to help move these projects forward. The new animal shelter and adoption facility is in its design phases, and so is the new police evidence and property facility. We also have 3 fire station rebuilds, and those are rebuilds, not new stations. That is the Central Station, which is just up the street from us, Station 6, and Station 7. And we have also lots of other alignment studies and design and planning work that's going on for some of these infrastructure, street drainage type projects. Those are kind of things that you don't see. Unless you're an engineer working on the project, you don't really see it. But just know that that progress is being made to keep those projects moving forward. And of those, the parks and recreation amenities, which was a huge portion of the bond program, the new sports field lighting project at Winters Park is well underway and is actually almost complete. I was talking to someone earlier, the old wooden poles are gone. The old orange sodium vapor lights are gone. They've been replaced by state-of-the-art metal poles, LED lighting. We are looking at probably having those fired up probably towards the end of February, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what it looks like. A part of me kind of misses that giant orange bubble that I drive by all the time, but I don't know that I'll miss it for very long once it's gone. And also designs are being developed for renovations at Hullabaugh Recreation Center and also at our senior activity center. And more master planning, Rick Oden Park. And again, we talk about aquatics and trail development. Those plans are moving forward. And some of those have some short-term and some long-term planning involved in them as well, because it's kind of a, our trail system will continue to develop over time. And we're also, once again, looking at updates to the downtown square, looking at the design phase for that. And although it's not a bond project, we are looking forward to opening our new dog park in the next month or so. It's okay to clap. Set off fireworks when the thing opens. That much anticipated, much discussed facility is under construction over here at Central Park off Glenbrook. Unfortunately, kind of like the weather today, we've had lots of weather delays. We were shooting for January, but it's probably going to push more to the end of February. But that will be definitely a glorious day for all of us. Moving on to some other projects. And let me do it for those of you who don't spend a whole lot of time watching city council meetings. I'm going to have to define something for you. I know everybody watches city council meetings. There's 5, 7, we'll go with 12. We're going to talk about PCI for a little bit. And that is our Pavement Condition Index, which is the scale where we rate the condition of our streets and alleys. It's a 0 to 100 scale. Okay, just for reference as I read through this. The condition, obviously, of our streets and alleys has been a major priority over the last several years. We completed more than $30 million worth of street and alley projects in 2019, and we achieved an overall street PCI rating of 77. Now that's better than the projected 75. And it started out in the upper 60s. And then our alley PCI has come up to 69, and that is over and above the 63 that was projected at. A total of 95 projects were completed last year. We had 37 under construction at the end of the year. And one thing we've seen with our streets and alleys, as we've increased the funding, as we've increased the focus on them, is the rate of the scale or the rate of deterioration has started to flatten out, which hopefully the streets will follow and flatten out as well, because we are putting a tremendous amount of money into them, a tremendous amount of time, but we have slowed the decline, and we are starting to see those numbers go back up. And I'm sure all of you experience that like I do daily. We've had a lot of other major infrastructure projects. We've had some bridge updates, water and sewer improvements, and then also some paving and drainage improvements that go along with some of those projects. They're kind of lumped together. And one thing we're doing, we're in the process of retiming more than 100 traffic lights around the city, getting the timing set on those. And while we're doing that, we're making upgrades to the lights and the controllers as well. And here's a big one. This is going to be something we're going to be talking about for the next several years. This spring, you're going to start seeing construction on the I-635 East project. You will probably start seeing equipment and materials gathering to that place, and then also improvements along I-30 across the Ray Hubbard Bridge and near Bass Pro. But the 635 project is huge, and it will be. It's a great project, and it'll be fantastic when it's done. The in-between time, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. When we talk about economic development in Garland, we benefit from having a very strong economic development team that's been recognized as one of the top economic development teams in North Texas. And actually, they have a table right back there in the corner. We've had some great wins in the economic development arena. Just a few here on the screen. And those represent everything from manufacturing, logistics, professional, and entertainment. And I don't know that, I don't know that we've said that word a lot here lately, something entertainment. We have lots of manufacturing, lots of logistics, but entertainment. I don't know, I think a lot of you have maybe seen or hopefully been to the new strike reel, which is up at Holford and 190. We had a ribbon cutting there today that unfortunately I couldn't make. But we're very excited for a development like that because what it will bring around hopefully it will bring other entertainment and food type developments along with it. And we're also making progress in redeveloping existing tracks. We have a really cool project over in our industrial district called Revolving Kitchen. They have 25 commercial grade kitchens that are available for what they say are food entrepreneurs. I don't really know what that means, but I know it's a lot of folks who run catering companies, food trucks. Maybe they're thinking about opening a restaurant and they're testing out their recipes. We had a chance to tour it. It's been a couple of months ago now. And again, I'm not a cook, but I think I could probably make something over there. They have all the equipment that you could possibly need, and all in an existing 34,000 square foot industrial building tucked away in the middle of an industrial district. And it's actually very, very cool. And, we're always excited to see existing companies grow and expand in Garland. We're continuing to have a lot of success in our data center sector and in the manufacturers that we have here in the city. And as you can see, we're making some important gains. $750 million in total investment between new projects, redevelopment, and expansion. That is fantastic. And a lot of that, again, goes back to our economic development team. So we thank them very much for the work they do. It's kind of behind the scenes a lot of the times, but it is very important. We're the tops. I was gonna sing that, but I opted not to. I may later. There's a lot of we all see there's there's surveys everywhere. Some of them are completely nonsensical that I read. I go, why? It's the top place to buy carpet. Who cares? Some of them are just don't even. I know they're all marketing driven, a lot of them, but they are sort of a barometer of where we are in sort of the competitive range of other cities. And so you can see some of them here. 19th best city in the U.S. to buy a family home. 3rd in the U.S. best places to live and save money. 9th best city to live in Texas. 6th hardest working city in the U.S. Yeah. 7th best place in Texas to find a job. And 6th happiest city in Texas. All right. Now, most of those are actually, I guess all of those except for one are top 10. I think we can certainly improve on any of those. And maybe I'd like to see who they're asking some of these questions of, because, I think that we can certainly raise those statistical scores. But, that again, that's a lot to show for how the city's doing. And, at the same time, I think a lot of that positive impact that we're seeing is also what is helping some of the residential development we have. If you look on the map, you can see all the GISD schools in blue, and the new single-family developments are in yellow, and then multifamily in orange. And right now, we have about 3,000 units, multifamily units, that are somewhere in the stage of development as we speak. 2 of those are on Arapahoe between North Garland and Holford. The Jefferson Woodlands and North Side at Woodlands. It's about 664 units combined. Jefferson Woodlands, I believe, is leasing. North Side, from the looks of it, probably will finish out closer to summertime, would be my guess. And then also we have a senior living development planned at Arapahoe, closer to Holford, along there. And in fact, the demand for senior housing is growing and has been growing. We have Lavon Senior Villas is under construction on the east side of Lavon. That's just south of Castle. And I think and I hope that we'll see a lot more development like that coming our way because there is certainly a need here in the city. In the single-family market, we have Riverset. This is our largest new single development with almost 600 single-family units, and it's going to be a combination. It's traditional single-family, and then also some townhome style living, and that's at Shiloh and Buckingham. It's the old Wyrick Farm for maybe some of you, and that development is blowing and going. I mean, every time I drive by there, there's 4 or 5 more houses framed, and then there's a roof on the next one, and so I think, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe they've already moved through phase 1, and I believe they're already starting to get into land in phase 2. That has been a very popular development. Another one that we have a lot of hope for is at I-30 in Rosehill. This is obviously in South Garland, and we have a lot of anticipated benefit coming from that one. We're going to, let's be honest, it's a freeway area. And we're trying to introduce a little more residential use to it, make it a little bit more pedestrian friendly, because honestly right now it's exactly 0% pedestrian friendly. To put some additional investment in there, linear park, street enhancements. I mean, just to really, kind of bring that area to a little bit higher use than just a basic freeway, and hopefully that will get some synergy in and around the South Garland area. And as far as single-family homes, amongst about 6 or 7 developments, we have 1,169 single-family homes or lots that have been approved that are all in some stage of construction at this point. Speaking of neighborhoods, we partner with our neighborhoods. I have to give a quick shout out to a couple of my Camelot neighbors there in the middle in the red shirts. And I think a lot of you are probably aware of the Neighborhood Vitality Grant programs. We partner with groups of all sizes, mandatory, voluntary, to make improvements to neighborhoods, to improve their identity, to build some community pride, and encourage projects that benefit the public at large. And what this program has done, it's empowered the residents to get out, get together, and make their neighborhood better. And we have an additional $7 million that will go towards that program from the 2019 bond package. Over time, we've had more than 100 neighborhood-based groups do almost $3.5 million worth of projects around their neighborhoods. And then we've also, and a lot of them, with the matching grants, a lot of them, about 70% are covered by the city, some even up to 90%. And then we've had quite a few over the recent last couple of years that were staff-initiated projects in areas that didn't have an organized group who could come together to pull some of these things off. And that leads us to, preserving our home values, increasing our value of our neighborhoods. This is a program that Richard's, this is one of those things that we've talked about for many years. And we have approved and funded a home improvement incentive rebate program that encourages homeowners to make improvements to the exterior of their homes. After meeting some eligibility requirements, applicants can receive a 50% cash rebate on qualifying improvements and upgrades to their residence. And obviously these improvements are to improve the look of their homes. Hopefully it will inspire the next house to do it, and so on and so on. It's a program that hopefully can just spread naturally down a street. This program is going to be rolled out later in the spring, and you can bet when we do launch it, everyone will know about it. Oh, man. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, parking violations. Of course, with all these neighborhoods and people come cars. In fact, neighborhood parking problems are the number one complaint we get citywide. And I can tell you from experience, as soon as you're sworn in as a council member for the City of Garland, your phone is going to ring. And I can almost guarantee you it is going to be somebody with a parking complaint. And that has been the case for years upon years upon years. Well, hopefully, we have found a way to stop that. What we have done, we have approved a program for administrative enforcement for parking ordinances throughout the city. And honestly, this is throughout the complaints span the city. Yes, there are areas where it's more concentrated, but it goes from side to side, top to bottom. The parking ordinances, the first offense is a $25 fine, second offense is $50, and then subsequent offenses $75. This program is run by the Garland City Marshal's Office. Was talking to them before. They started writing warnings a little bit before Christmas, and they have written 4,000 warnings since right before. And please feel free to clap about that. 4,000. But the great thing about that, the warnings are already starting to show positive impact. People are changing their behavior with parking. Now, for those who don't, we will start writing tickets here in just a few short weeks, and that will change some habits as well, I believe. Obviously these are for very common parking things we see all the time. Parking on unimproved surfaces, parking across the sidewalk, too close to an intersection, too close to a fire hydrant, blocking streets, blocking alleys, some of those things that have been going on for decades. Hopefully we have found a way to kind of take back some of that. And again, we are already seeing some improvement. The best way to report a parking issue is through the eAssist app. Excuse me. But yes, 4,000 warnings. Jibs, on behalf of the Garland school bus drivers, they applaud your efforts. Thank you. Living in Garland does come with a lot of great amenities. We have a lot of things here to benefit from. We're trying to make a lot of those even better. We have Harbor Point. You have a lot of lakefront entertainment, and obviously the lake uses. We are also known for some of the best hiking and biking trails in the Metroplex from the Rowlett Creek Preserve. We have, here in the city, we have more than 2,500 acres of parkland and green belts, 63 parks. And every resident is about 10-minute walk from one of those. Some from multiple, depending on which way they go. We also have Firewheel Golf Park, which is the largest municipal golf course in Texas with 63 holes of championship playable golf. So what do we do around here? Things to do. The City of Garland hosts a lot of great events for the enjoyment of residents and visitors, and we partner with a lot of other folks for other events. We have a very special opportunity coming up in February with the Wall That Heals. I'll talk about that more here in a second, but some of these events I know you've all been to because I've seen you at them, and that is something coming up at, Wheels of Hope car show, which has grown exponentially over the last few years. Jazz in the Square and the Sounds of Summer concert series will be in our third year. The crowds last summer were fantastic, as well as so was the entertainment. Now, we have an event that has become somewhat controversial. The Garland Guzzler Point 5K in Oktoberfest. We've had some controversy on council and some of the citizens here in the front row about the competitive level of that race. But in spite of all that, we are going to continue to have it. It's like the Hall of Champions here in front. We have a few new events coming. We have the Cabela's King Cat Fishing Tournament coming to Ray Hubbard in February. And then we have the TAAF, and somebody told me what that stood for earlier, and I've lost it. Men's 6 foot and under basketball tournament at Granger Recreation Center. 6 foot and under. Okay? Yes. Now those are going to be some serious games right there, because there's a lot of those guys got a lot to prove. That'll be at Granger Rec in March. We will also be hosting in July our second DFW Asian American Soccer Tournament at Winters Park. And then in March we have a partnership event with GISD celebrating the arts. Now, I know that's a lot, and I know you all know a lot of these things, and how do you keep track of it? How do you know, there's always, what are you going to do? Who are you going to go? Obviously, you can do a lot of this through the Visit Garland Texas app, and you can see that at visitgarlandtexas.com, and obviously through all of the social media platforms. We pump that stuff, that information out there in every avenue that we can. All right, let's talk about the wall that heals. I've had trouble getting through this slide even when I was practicing it at home in the mirror. This is a huge thing. We have a very important event coming up in late February. We are honored to host the Wall That Heals. This is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, along with a mobile education center, and it's coming to Garland, Texas. It'll be here February 27th through Sunday, March the 1st. The exhibit will be on display at Audubon Park. It will be open 24 hours a day, and it is absolutely free. The Wall That Heals, if you're not familiar with it, honors the more than 3 million Americans who served in the U.S. Armed Forces in the Vietnam War, and it bears the names of the 58,276 American men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam. That's huge. I can't wait to see this thing. And to do it, we need some community support. We need 100 volunteers are needed to set up and take down the replica wall, staff the exhibit, give the tours, and I hope to see all of you there. If it's 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and you can visit garlandtx.gov for information on that event. And then how do you get involved in the city? I know a lot of, there's a couple of dozen board and commission members here this evening, but I want to encourage you to find ways and get your friends to plug into our community at our Garland Board and Volunteer Fair. It'll be right here on February 25th from 6 to 8. You'll get a chance to visit with dozens of nonprofits that work here in the city and volunteers, and then you can also get information on how to serve on our boards and commissions. And you can step up and make your mark in Garland. And something that is right around the corner for all of us, Census 2020 is right around the corner. And an important reminder that's critical to all of us. The U.S. Census for 2020, the population count will determine Garland's allotment of money for federal programs for schools, roads, public programs, and a lot more. Those numbers also determine our representation at the state and federal levels. The information you submit is confidential, and the statistics are used only for public reports. In mid-March, we will all receive notification on how we can respond online, by phone, or by paper. The census count officially begins April 1, and I encourage you to take part and share this information with your neighbors. And you can find out more at 2020census.gov. This is a very important thing. I mean, we take a lot from that, and I think unfortunately a lot of people kind of let it go. So, all right, I'm still sort of recovering from the Wall That Heals, so this next part may take me a second. Man, finally tonight, I want to start a new tradition. And that is with the mayor's State of the City address, to honor folks that have truly made a difference and made their mark on our community. As we talked about earlier, we know the story. We know tornadoes. We know tornadoes hit here, and we're obviously thankful that no one was injured. But the damage was significant, very costly to residents and businesses in the Williams Estates and also the Meadowlark Estates neighborhoods. But in the midst of all that, and here's some, obviously some film from it, something really incredible happened, and it really started just minutes after the weather clear, or the storms cleared, I should say. City crews did their jobs. They cleared debris, they restored power, they made sure everybody was safe and all of that. But at the same time, people came together and started helping their neighbors. And it was messy, it was noisy, and they just started showing up. And just regular folks, and they immediately started helping their neighbors clean up, help with repairs, help with meals, and just making everybody try to feel better, encouraging, loving on them. And neighbors helping neighbors, as I said in the video earlier. It was really fantastic to watch. I mean, honestly, if you've never been in an area where there was a tornado, you will see some of the most fantastic damage you'll ever see in your life. It is just truly amazing what happens. But what's amazing is that's what really does it right there. What took a couple of seconds, for the wind to rip apart. I wish I could reach out to everybody who helped. But I honestly would never be able to get to all of them. But at the same time, everything needs somebody to organize it. Somebody has got to take that first step. And I have a couple of folks here tonight that I want to recognize for their efforts. So if I could get Lori Dotson and Carissa Dutton to come forward, please. Yes, you have to come up on this stage with me. These two ladies, I'm very proud to call them my friends. Lori and I, the Honorable Lori Dotson, and I we served on the Plan Commission together. We served on the council together. She served as mayor for a year. We were in adjacent districts and number sequence as well. So we have spent literally hundreds of hours sitting next to each other over the last several years. And so we've gotten to know each other pretty well. Carissa, I haven't known for as long, but I can tell you, it seems like I've known her forever. She has absolute heart of gold, and will go so far out of her way to help people that it might be dangerous. So these two ladies, just out of nowhere, I start seeing things pop up on Facebook and whatnot. Hey, we're working on this street today. Hey, this house, this block, and we're having this for lunch. And they coordinated all of that stuff. Because a lot, people, everybody in this room will volunteer for something, but who will be the first one to go? After that, people will come in, and that's really what I saw happening. And, they organized volunteers, they organized the effort, they coordinated. Carissa made me possibly the best plate of spaghetti I have ever eaten in my life. And I sat cross-legged in a driveway with Lori and her eating it. And it was probably the best meal I've had in a very long time. So anyway, with all of that, I would like to, let me step behind you here. I would like to present the Make Your Mark Garland Award for Lori Barnett Dotson for representing the strong community spirit that helps Garland thrive. Thank you for making your mark. And I would also like to make your mark to Carissa Dutton for also representing this community and helping out everywhere, anywhere it's needed. I can never thank you enough. Thank you. And if you would like to say something. Sorry. I would like to give each of you an opportunity. Again, I know there's lots of people out there who helped, and you probably know them much more, maybe more clear than I do. But you can say anything you want.
Is the mic on?
It is.
So, as a small child, they just told me I was bossy. But look at me now. Here I am getting an award for doing that exact thing. No, there are so many people that are actually here in this room that showed up to do anything that they could to help. Food. There were some folks I can't lift much, but they picked up a broom, swept, cleaned things up. Your mayor here was out and about. A lot of your council members were out and about.
Yes.
So I feel a little bit like a fraud while we were out there doing what we could. I moved some tree limbs.
You did a great job.
But it was the whole community. So if you ever wonder why Garland is great and we should classify as number one, it's because of the community that's here that reaches out. Carissa's done it. She was here in the 2015 tornado. I was out of town. And so she is the biggest heart of gold.
Yes, I second that.
Yeah, I'm not a good talker because I just cry. But yeah, we have an amazing community, and none of it would be possible without everybody coming together. See, look, I'm a father.
We can join with you.
Yeah, so yeah, ditto what she said. And we look forward to doing more awesome stuff with our people.
Very good. Thank you. And just for those of us who know Carissa, we have now found a way to get her to stop talking. Is you actually hand her a microphone. It's a very different concept. All right. So I know I've run over time, which I'm not surprised about, and probably no one else is as well. We do have some time for a little Q&A. If you have questions, again, I will point you to all of the entire City of Garland staff that is around you.